I prepared some prayer eggs. So, and there's, surprises in them and everything. And so there's one for every section. When Mike asked me to speak last week, it was total silence. And I was like, starting the process of prayer and meditation at that moment. And then this week when I was at work, it was in my consciousness, so I was doing door slabs, which is really tedious. You have to lay the old door on top of the new one, transfer the hinges, route them just right on a jig. It's really tedious work. And then I noticed there were paintings and pictures all over where I had to hang the doors. And what did I see on two of the doors but crosses? And I was like, okay, prayer and meditation. Quick reminder. Then I was doing a roof on Thursday. And I like being on a roof because I'm closer to God. And I was up on the roof and I saw this beautiful arrangement of trees, boulders in the back. And once again, I saw a statue of Jesus. Like a whole, I guess it was like painted cement, So once again, I'm reminded prayer and meditation. So inside your prayer eggs is, if I could find it in all my notes, it's going to be tricky to do 10 minutes, but I'll work on it. Okay. There was a woman, a friend of mine, who was one of my first spiritual teachers. And she passed away about 30 years ago of leukemia, and she gave me this little saying on prayer, which really says it so eloquently. I know not by what method rare, but this I know, God answers prayer. I know not when he sends the word that tells me fervent prayer is heard. I know it cometh soon or late. My part is but to pray and wait. I know not if the blessing sought will come in just the guise I thought. I leave all care with him above, whose will is always one of love. Now, part of my process is when I pray, I have a sweat lodge on my property. I'm blessed to have hundreds of trees. It's like a state park. The park doesn't close after dark. And I have an altar. So I also have an altar in my home. So with the prayer egg, my thought was you could be in your car, it could be at the beach, it could be anywhere you want to go. Take the prayer egg with you and maybe have an altar and then put your prayers in the prayer egg. And if you put the prayers in the prayer egg, you'll never know what can hatch. Now, my spiritual journey began with my grandmother. She was like my rock. My grandmother taught me unconditional love, and she taught me how to pray and meditate. And I used to go to her little apartment in Freeport, and I wish Nick was here because she was born in Oil City, Pennsylvania, which is where Nick went to college. And she lived in Freeport in a little simple apartment, and Nick used to teach in Freeport. So we're all connected, we're all one. And I went to go see the Yankee game with my grandmother. First inning, 9-1, California Angels, Yankees, 9-1, the Yankees are down. And my grandmother had such faith, we watched the whole game. The rest of the game, total defense, not another run was scored by the California Angels. They got a run every inning. In the bottom of the ninth, they got 2 innings. They won, 10-9. It was the best game I'll ever see. And my grandmother, in her classic way, just said, "My Lordy, I didn't see that coming." So there was the beginning of my spiritual journey. You don't have to be a Yankee fan either. Okay. So I could tell various stories, I'm blessed because I get to work in the outdoors a lot. And one time I was working in Lloyd Harbor in this beautiful estate, like 4 acres a fox actually walked up an old deck I built right to the table looking for food. And I built this giant deck out of Brazilian hardwood, and I recessed all the screws, and I made wood plugs. Wood plugs are like, you get a drill bit and you take the matching wood and you make your plugs. So I was plugging away, just really into it. It was a meditation. Doing tedious things like making wood plugs is a meditation. And unbeknownst to me, there was a praying mantis on my baseball cap for 2 hours as I was installing over 1,000 plugs. And so I thought that's when I peaked with prayer and meditation. But I'm blessed because actually, about a month ago, I was up early, a friend of mine had called me, and it was like just sunrise before we did the time change. And I see this giant bird of rapture on top of a fence by my hot tub, and I'm like, wow, is that a hawk? Is that a falcon? What is that? I see feathers flying over the side of the fence. And then I'm watching, it was a hawk, and I'm watching him eat breakfast for like 20 minutes. Then he gets up and flies right past my deck, and I'm like just in awe. And then I'm thinking about it. A couple days later, I'm in the bathroom doing what one does in the bathroom. And I look out the window, and I saw what I thought was a squirrel's nest a couple of weeks earlier, and I see the hawk fly in. And I have 2 hawks nesting in my backyard. Now, I don't know if it's because they like folk music I play, Native American music, the Grateful Dead. I think the hawks are deadheads. That's just my theory. I can't prove it, but By the way, this tie is a Garcia tie. I usually only wear it for like weddings, bar mitzvahs, and Easter talks at New Thought. Okay, so. And one of the things with prayer and meditation is sometimes you don't have time to meditate. Sometimes you just have to lay the prayer out. Like in 2000, I was hit on the expressway in a van. I immediately went into an intense 360 on the LIE, doing 65 miles an hour. So when that happened, my prayer was very short. God, take the wheel. And I knew I was going to be okay. That's all I could say. And then my meditation was about 3.8 seconds. I skidded in a 360, went backwards 600 feet over the guardrail, and the van didn't flip over because this like sticker bushes held it in place. And I was totally okay because I said, God, take the wheel. Because I really have faith, which is what my grandmother taught me all about. Okay. I have so much material here. How are we doing on time? 2? Okay. All right, let me read some of this material I put together here. Okay. I need to be in touch with my Creator, God, every hour of the day. We're children of God under divine protection. Asking God for help when we are stumped or confused brings us clarity and assurance. My relationship with God is a personal, highly individual thing. Whether I approach God with a scream or a whisper, I am welcomed. Prayer can change us dramatically. When prayer is how we live our life, we are able to honor whatever life gives us by responding with acceptance and hope. People are the messengers, along with signs and slogans and definitely nature sightings. He prays best who does not know that he is praying, St. Anthony of Padua. Prayer at its best is an attitude, an awareness of God's presence. It's a thankfulness, a silent appreciation of, and a communion with our source. Most of all, prayer is stepping back and letting go and letting God. It's a conscious awareness that we are the instruments of God's will, that our greatest fulfillment and satisfaction come in letting that will, not ours, prevail. Prayer is being joyfully attentive to life, moment by moment. Trusting God to guide us means we will be willing to let the journey carry us to the destination God intends. To pray is to surrender, Remain still and offer an open, quiet mind for God's response. China.
So thank you so much. I opened the prayer and like, I don't know, I've been getting like a lot of messages from my higher power. Last night I had this like ridiculous dream, and before I went to bed I was like, what's my purpose? You know, because I've known I've had a purpose, and I'm, you know, obviously I haven't through all my trials and turmoils, not fallen down and not been able to get back up. So what's my purpose? And I had this crazy dream, and it was like, there's my purpose, and it was like ridiculous. So I've just been getting like all these messages, and I opened the prayer, and it was like, I didn't know they were all the same, but I thought I was like, oh my God, I started crying a little bit, and like, so it's just crazy, like how if I'm open and I am able to receive it, I'm not blocked by other things, like how much I get, how much more open. And last week I was here like crying, bawling my eyes out, like whoa. So it's just really nice to like be able to be open and not blocked and able to receive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks. My name is Joseph. Thanks, Don. So awesome to hear you today. And this month has been really good, even though I missed a couple of Sundays. I listened to them when I was away on YouTube, and there's been an actual like shift in the practice, because it's practice, prayer, meditation. It's not magic. You got to do it, and so this idea that all of our words are prayers, and I believe music is prayer. It's like the lyrics, everything. It's all prayer.